What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in just 2 days, on Monday, September 20th, we should start getting a lot of answers regarding what is actually going to be in this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Will it actually pass? What are Democrats, progressives, and Republicans doing right now? There's a lot of talks, but here's what's happening over the past few weeks. According to multiple reports, over the last few weeks, many lawmakers are actually considering pushing for a fourth stimulus check. Now, I want to address what is going on because there's actually a little bit of a twist. Here's what's happening. Right now, they say additional assistance is needed to provide for those that lost their jobs, for those that have no income, for those that need to put food on the table and pay for life-saving medications. That's what they're saying. But here's the twist. Lawmakers are considering a fourth stimulus check, but being that it could be harder to pass a fourth stimulus check, they're actually looking for different ways to provide the same assistance because they say moderates are going to stand in their way. Here's what you need to understand. The people pushing for a fourth stimulus check are mostly progressives. Yes, progressives. They're also pushing for immigration reform, Medicare, paid family leave, right? They're pushing for the extension of the child tax credits, the child care credits as well. There's a lot of things they're pushing for. But here's something else you need to understand. They're considering changing the text of many bills in order to provide the assistance that a stimulus check would eventually provide because they say moderates would not support that. So here's one example that a Senate aide gave, and this Senate aide simply says, we could increase the income limit for somebody to qualify for SNAP benefits. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, what would this do? If you don't need any type of income or any assistance for nutrition, right? You're probably thinking, well, this doesn't help me, but it does. Here's what they are saying, according to one staffer. Again, or according to one Senate aide. Again, they don't want to be named, and it makes sense. It's making sense why so many people don't want to be named when they're coming out and leaking information. But what they're simply saying is, if you provide people with a low income but don't meet the income limitations of the SNAP program, if you increase that limit, that increases the amount of people that would then qualify, which means those people would not have to spend their hard-earned money or the limited amount of income that they have to put food on the table. It would then be a federal program that's now paying for the same food. So then they can take that, let's say $600 per month, and move it towards something else. Move it towards clothing for their children, which there's no benefits. There's no program out there providing clothing for children. So they may be getting the nutrition they need and maybe living in affordable housing, but there's nothing for clothing. There's barely anything for school supplies. Yes, the child tax credit payments are going to help with that. But again, it's $250 to $300 per month. But what if these SNAP benefits are going to be a monthly benefit and they just increase that limit? So increasing the limit would allow more families to secure these benefits. And by getting nutrition assistance, that family wouldn't need to spend their money and they could use that money on something else, like housing, right? Pay off some of their debt that they've incurred over the past year. But what if lawmakers take this one step further? What if they decide to pass another 5 months of unemployment benefits? Because that's exactly what they're planning on doing. AOC, Ayanna Pressley, and now they're getting the backing from the Progressive Caucus chairwoman, Pramila Jayapal. This could be big. Progressives are demanding that their 5 priorities included in the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, one of those has to be immigration. Well, the Senate parliamentarian is still working on that, still determining whether the immigration reform provision can be included into this bill because it's going to pass through a budget reconciliation. Meaning, this bill, this provision would have to affect the federal budget. And if it doesn't, then this cannot be included. So, this is where a couple of Democratic staffers believe that unemployment benefits will make its way back into this bill. But I just want to point out, remember, Senator Joe Manchin, he specifically stated he does not want to see any extension whatsoever in the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. This means no extension to unemployment benefits. So I don't know if this is going to be included, but this is one of those things that some people are saying, well, what if they took it a step further? provided a little bit more for people that are unemployed. And I addressed this earlier, that about 10 million people lost anywhere between $300 to $600 per week. $1,200 to $2,400 per month in income simply because of the $300 per week boost was simply eliminated, and self-employed gig workers and freelancers, they got cut off of state unemployment benefits as well. Over 8 million people just from the self-employed gig workers and freelancers lost their state benefits plus the $300 per week. Again, it's a troubling situation to be in. But Pramila Jayapal, the progressive chairwoman, she actually had this to say this morning, and I quote, "And over, and relief for families to withstand it shouldn't be either. I'm pushing in Congress to reinstate these critical benefits, and I won't stop fighting." And then she tagged, or pretty much put a link to the talks of unemployment benefits through the Seattle Times. I don't know if she's going to push for all benefits. Okay, she says, I'm pushing in Congress to reinstate these critical benefits. I don't think she's pushing in everything, all stimulus, all related stimulus. I think the main thing is she's pushing for the unemployment benefits. But again, it's because it's easier to get these things passed than to pass a stimulus check when, according to some reports, many people, millions and millions of Americans, didn't need that money and used that money to put it into the stock market. So some people are saying that it's because of those people we are seeing massive amounts of inflation. We know Democrats are still trying to get the cost of prescription drugs lowered. It was actually voted against. It didn't pass. Okay, but Bernie Sanders still says that this needs to be included. Bernie Sanders says that it's a rigged system when companies and CEOs are making billions of dollars and they're charging $1,000 for a Hep C drug that is developed by, or was developed by the VA and can be manufactured for just $1. And yet in India, it only costs $4 to buy. But here in the United States, it costs us $1,000. It's insane. In the US, we also pay $98 for a vial of insulin. And in Canada, they pay $12. Huge difference. Bernie Sanders says, and I quote, "When we pass the reconciliation bill, we will lower prescription drug prices, provide paid family leave to every worker, dramatically lower the cost of childcare, finally lead the world in the fight against climate change. We cannot let powerful special interests stand in our way." Here's what I can tell you. They are still pushing to lower prescription drug prices. As far as providing paid family leave to every worker, that is one of the things that they want to do. Many countries have this already instated. Countries are already doing this. I think we're like 1 out of 10 or 12 countries that don't have paid family leave. Now, there will be certain stipulations here. It won't just be for everybody. However, according to a report yesterday, they are going to include this for self-employed individuals. Now, this is going to be for certain people if you are having a child, right? There's a medical emergency, that's paid family leave. If you have to, as far as, obviously that's included there, but as far as anybody that has a child, if you have somebody that is sick, I believe you can come and take care of them. Anyone's elderly, or if somebody has, you can actually take time off of work and do that as well. So we don't know all the details here, but as I do learn a little bit more, I promise I will fill you in on those. As to dramatically lower the cost of childcare, what we know is that right now, that the way it's written is you will not spend more than 7% of your income. 7% of your income would go towards childcare. We also know there will be a childcare tax credit included. It will be for $4,000 per year per child, but you can only do this not once, but twice. 2 children. 2 children max, meaning you can get an $8,000 childcare tax credit. The purpose behind this is to get more parents back to work and entice them to go back to work, meaning, hey, you're going to get this child care tax credit. You will not have to pay, too much of your income, and then you'll get a lot of it back. So you might as well go and use it, which means you'll have more time to go and get a job. So it should help out the economy as a whole. And finally, lead the world and fight against climate change. We know that's one of the main things Democrats are trying to include. He simply says we cannot let powerful special interests stand in our way. And this is talking about lobbyists, big businesses. He's saying we just can't let them stand in our way. And one report late last night indicated that progressives are more than happy to block that $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill if the $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill is not passed before then. They say that this time it is about the people and investing into them, not about propping up big businesses. But again, and I told you guys this morning, this is coming at a time, this bill, the passing of this bill is going to come at a very crucial time. Because if we see this delay and this kind of lags on for a little bit, this could actually implement or impact Democrats in the upcoming midterm. So they're being very cautious as to what to include, what to exclude, and how to get this bill done. So as always, as I know more, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching.